All right, so this is going to be a quick tutorial on the phone wallets. I know I've had these kind of coming for about a week now. I've been working on them, and I've been waiting to get the right magnetic ring before I release them, but they aren't going to be here because of all the shipping delays of the holidays. So I want to go ahead and get these out because you can still use them with adhesive. So these phone wallets are just quick for like one little cards, right? So this is, there's no numbers on here. You can't steal my numbers, but so it's just like for your ID and like a credit card. It's a pretty snug fit. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about it falling out when you have them in there. This is, for reference, this is an iPhone 14 Pro. And then this is how it kind of fits on the back of that. So there's two ways in theory to attach this, and one is with a magnetic ring. So initially I had ordered what they said were magnetic rings on Amazon. They were pretty cheap. It said magnet about 50 different times. They are not magnets. They are just metallic rings. And the issue with that, with these guys, with just the metal rings, is that they don't really work securely with a MagSafe. You need to actually get something that has the magnetic rings. And I did source a couple versions of these, and I want to make sure that I get them and I try them before I recommend them to you. So in the meantime, the best way to use this, like, see, it sticks really well with that magnet. So this is my pop socket, which is that magnetic ring. So it will stick to a MagSafe case with the magnets or a MagSafe phone. My phone is unfortunately recording this, so I can't show you on that. But so once I get those rings in, I'll have a better source for you on that. But you do not want the ones that you see on Amazon that just say magnetic rings, because there's no magnets in them, they're just metal, and they don't work for this. So the second option is the adhesive that they use on the back of things like pop socket. And that is called, it's from 3M, it's it's VHB tape. And it comes in either rolls, or you can get things that come already in pre-cut little pads like this. It's a lot stickier than it looks. It takes some time to set up and cure. So for example, for like this wallet, I would end up using 2 of these to make sure it's a good fit on the back of the phone we put it on. This adhesive is nice because it takes a little bit to cure. So they tell you not to keep like yanking it off and on. Once you get it on, leave it on for a bit. But when it comes off, it doesn't damage your phone. It doesn't stay stuck to your phone, but it's still super sticky. So it's secure on there. So again, this is 3M VHB tape. I started with the pads. If I do more, I'll probably get the roll. I want to say the roll was about 20 bucks for 5-inch wide by like 15 yards. So it's pretty inexpensive when you think about it. You can get a lot of them out of there. So, and again, it's double-sided. You would put part on your phone, and then you can sell it with this part off so they can stick it themselves. But the phone wallets themselves comes in 2 versions. One is that top version here, where you have it on here and you can slide your card out. I don't actually have it stuck to my phone case. The second option is this vertical side here, where it's going to slide into here securely on that. Again, these will hold just a card or 2. It's nice for like going out and about. They're secure. Your cards aren't going to fall out when you're in there. What I didn't like about some of the manufactured ones you could buy is that the card slides out on the bottom, and that didn't seem very secure to me. So I'm putting mine on the top when you put them on. So I'm going to show you how to do the 2 versions of these. They're really quick and easy. Stabilizer, you can use cutaway, you can use tear away, whatever you want to put in your hoop, it's totally fine. But like with all of our dimes, we're going to do a first step, which is going to be placement that we're going to stitch directly onto our stabilizer. For the first wallet I'm going to show you how to do is just a simple side wallet. It's just 2 pieces of material. I have vinyl on the front and the back. What I will say about this, if you're using the adhesive ones, you want to make sure that the vinyl that you use isn't super textured on the back side. First of all, you're not going to see it on there. You'll just see the front vinyl, but you don't want something that is so textured that the adhesive can't get in there. So you could opt for like a marine on the back of that that's a little smoother versus like a textured kind of glittery chunky vinyl on the back. So I've got my vinyl here. I'm using just a smooth marine vinyl for the back side, and I'll use this for the front side. Honestly, the back and the front don't need to match because you're not going to see the back once it's on. So let me go ahead and get that first part stitched up and we'll come back. All right, so we have our first step that is stitched directly onto our vinyl. That's our placement stitches to tell us where we want the front vinyl to be placed. So I'm gonna grab my front vinyl here. In fact, I don't even need a piece this big. Down a little bit. And I'm gonna place that directly over top, making sure that it's covering all my placement stitches. And the next step that we're gonna stitch is gonna do a top stitching line just along the top here. So go back to your machine, stick that next step, which is just gonna run a line of stitching just down here. All right, so we have that line of stitching done, and we do that so that when we stitch our back down, it's just gonna stitch along the 3 sides, but that top part looks finished. So that's that step right there. So our last step of this is super quick, I promise. You just flip it over. You're gonna grab your backing vinyl and you're gonna place that over all the stitches there so it's all nice and covered, and you're gonna grab your tape. Of course, my tape is nowhere to be found at the moment, so I'm gonna have to open up a new roll of tape. Grab your tape and go ahead and secure down your vinyl on the back, making sure that you're covering all the stitches, and then take it back to your machine and run the final step to stitch all those pieces together. So for the vertical wallet, I went ahead and stitched out my placement stitches on my stabilizer. We're gonna do the same thing we did in the first part of the horizontal wallet. And I'm going to go ahead and place my backing fabric down, my vinyl, a little farther, just over top, covering all of those placement stitches. And I'm gonna go back to the machine and it's gonna go ahead and get me to the next step. So hold tight. All right, so I've run our next step, which is a tack down of our backing piece of vinyl on the front, and it's gonna give us 2 little guidelines that tell us where to place our pocket piece. So right there on the side, off to the side. So get whatever vinyl you wanna have for your pocket piece. What I would say is when you're cutting this for the pocket piece, make sure that your edge that goes on top is very smooth. You don't want a jagged line like I just did, it's all wonky there. So make sure you're picking a very smooth piece that you cut probably with a rotary cutter or something, a ruler, to make sure it's really straight, and you're gonna lay that down and it's gonna be just at those lines. So have it there and go ahead and grab yourself some tape and secure that in place so that the top of that pocket is positioned so it's right under those lines there. Doesn't need to be exact, so you got something to play with. So right under, on, either one is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and secure that vinyl down in place. And we're gonna go back to our machine and it's gonna tack our pocket down. All right, so now we have our pocket tacked down. Go ahead and remove the tape there. You don't have to really want to. Go ahead, and now we're on our very last step. So our pocket's there, nice and even. I'm gonna flip it over and we're gonna add our backing fabric. Again, I want to pick something kind of smooth, not something with a lot of texture, because especially if we're using the adhesive or if we're choosing to use the magnet slater. We are going to place that down, covering all of our stitches. Get my tape off here. Go ahead and tape around on this to secure it in place so it doesn't shift on you while you're stitching. Make sure all your stitches are covered. We're going to return this back to our machine and stitch our last step to tack this back down. All right, so we're back. So we've got our entire wallet stitched out. We're going to go ahead and just trim this out just like we did the first one. Again, I find it hard to do with a lot of excess when I'm trying to cut neatly. So I like to go ahead and do a rough trim and get a lot of the excess off. I just find it's easier for me to get those scissors around neatly when I don't have a ton of bulk to cut around. So, all right, so we'll just go ahead and start trimming this out about 1/4 inch away, just like we did the other one. I'm a little closer than 1/4 inch, but it's ish, it's all ish. And that's it. And there is our vertical wallet. So again, our card will just slide in nice and neat there. It's pretty snug, so you don't have to worry about the card sliding out on you. Again, I'm moving this around a lot. It's not coming out, as you can see. Again, 2 options. Once I get those magnet links, I'll get it for you so that you can use a magnet on it. And you're going to want to make sure that when you do get the magnets that you use a strong adhesive. They come with one. I don't know if I necessarily trust it. I would put a little bit of E6000 on it when I put it on, just to make sure it's on there nice and secure when you attach it. Otherwise, if you're using the adhesive, again, either get the tape or get the strips, and you're going to want to make sure you've got a good amount covered. So for this one, I would end up using 2 strips here to get that all nice and covered. And then just place it where you want to place it on your phone. Give it a good push and kind of let it sit for a little bit before you use it, just so that adhesive has a time to cure. And that's it. They're quick and easy. Okay, so we've run that last step. We have now attached our backing to the front of our vinyl ear. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pop it out of our hoop, and we're just going to trim it down. I always like to have excess kind of cut away before I start trimming. I find it's easier to kind of trim neatly when I don't have a bunch of material I'm trying to get through. That is just my preference. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trim 1/4 inch or so away from that line of stitching. A little closer on that top, oops. And I find when you're trimming vinyl projects, it's easier to turn the vinyl instead of your scissors to keep it from getting those little jagged edges. Turn, and there we go. And I just cleaning that little top up there where my scissors didn't get the back down as smooth as the front. There we go. All right, so we have it. There is the back. There is the front. Again, this just, you can either, once we get the right magnets, we can either glue it to our MagSafe case, or in the meantime, we can take our little adhesives and we can stick those down on there. Which I'm not going to do right now so I can save my adhesives, but would use 2 pieces here, or if you get the tape, kind of cut it to size. And then you'll just attach it to your phone, whether you want the opening to be on the left or the right. But your card will fit nice and snug in there without falling out on you. So it's a quick little project that way. So that is the first version. We're going to do the second version now. So I'm going to go ahead and rehoop my stabilizer, and we'll come back and do the second version, which is the one with the pocket.